And as promised, we've got Brock Murray with us. Brock, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Now Brock is the CEO of Catapult Software, correct?
Yeah. Well, Catapult Software is our product, and the official company name is Catapult Technology Corp.
Got it. Okay, good. So we were talking before about how reg-a and crowdfunding kind of like extends to a lot of different applications, a lot of different industries, and I guess software is also one of them. And you guys are doing financial software, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah,
well, tell us about Catapult in general.
Yeah, so we're a cloud-based infrastructure product for investment firms that want to design, set up, and manage an online investment platform. So we work with alternative investment groups primarily, a lot of commercial real estate, private lenders, and we provide them with all of the technology needs so that they can run their businesses online.
Okay, good. Now, how long have you guys been around for?
We've been around for a long time, previously as a custom software firm, but for 3 years we've been doing the Catapult product exclusively.
Excellent. Okay, I remember looking at you guys online the other day, and it turns out you guys are doing your own IPO, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we just actually 2 weeks ago, we listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol FUND, FUND. So yes, we're actively trading now.
Okay, good. I was reading your press release on that, and I really like what you were talking about in terms of why you chose to go IPO versus, let's say, a venture capital firm, right? And you mentioned in that where the venture and the angel investors would really, they're looking more to play a numbers game, and you guys are looking more to put out a quality product, huh?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think the venture capital model, from our opinion anyways, it's a bit skewed in terms of the types of startups it makes sense for.
Right.
I think if you have a very high growth product month over month, something like a consumer app, that model works well for them. I think if you have a bigger business to business startup, sometimes it takes time to hit that critical mass. So, in those early stages, I think finding the right capital partner is more important than finding the quickest money. So for us, venture capital
Absolutely
makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now you guys did not go the reg-a route on your IPO, but it turns out you guys are doing software for crowdfunding purposes. And how's that going?
Yeah, so a lot of people said that to us with our IPO is, why don't you use your own software and just do it that way? Which is something we actually did consider, but I think especially in the US now, what's possible with Reg-A Plus, the size of the money you can raise, the accessibility to the different investor levels, it becomes very interesting for startups, but also for more established groups that want to take advantage of that kind of online exposure.
Right. So if I have a Reg-A project that I want to start marketing it using your software, what would have to be the first couple of steps? What do you guys actually do on a step-by-step basis for this?
Yeah, so we do. With our software, it is. Some people call it white label, but ultimately it's set up for a specific client. So we would do the full rebrand of our software so that it has the kind of the marketing page or the website, if you want to call it a website, look and feel, and then we go through the full configuration process. So some of that might be to your business model. Even within Reg-A Plus, there's different ways of handling different processes in the software. So we kind of do an end-to-end setup cycle, and then at that point we act as the technology partner and maintain and host the system and provide all of our upgrades that we're doing. So it varies from client to client, but our setup process is all kind of based around that.
And then in that case, it's possible then for a company to basically run their own private label funding software, kind of similar to like a Micro Ventures or an Indiegogo type of thing?
Yeah, exactly. And we're able to set that up for you at, a fraction of the price, and we're able to do it in a very quick timeline. So those types of, those ones you mentioned, some of these groups have spent hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on their technology. So we can kind of shortcut that for established firms or for guys that are starting up and don't have those types of budgets.
That's very interesting. So if I have a website, let's say called, our website is reg-a-money.com, we can theoretically use your software to market Reg-A projects off our own domain name. So it wouldn't be going to, let's say, an Indiegogo. It would be on our own site. We take possession of that.
Exactly, because I mean, the value with that, I mean, especially even if you put a project up on another platform, at the end of the day, you're bringing your audience. That's where the audience will come from, at least in the early stages, like the grassroots, first few days of launching a project. They're going to come from your friends, family, and your existing network. That's just the reality of it. And from there, you build on that. You get more exposure, and then by the end of it, you're obviously tapping into to strangers and groups maybe nationally, right? So if you do that on someone else's platform, I mean, you've basically just given them that value, and you've brought them that investor network. And it's kind of a one-time value, right? So if you do it on your own platform, if you want to do a subsequent raise, if someone else comes to you after and says, hey, I saw your raise, like I want to do mine as well, now you're starting to add value and build something special. So that's the value of doing your own platform versus posting somewhere else.
Right. I agree. That's great. Now, when someone starts this process with your software, is it up to them to configure the software? Do you guys kind of handhold through the process and get the whole thing done for the client, or both? Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, clients will always want to have their say on certain things, but they also are looking to do something in a pretty quick way without a ton of resources on their side. So we'll take you through really the whole process end to end. We can provide you with all the best practices of a setup. We'll provide you with all of the regulatory framework that you would sign off with your own legal team. So that's kind of where we draw the line, where we can give you a Reg-A Plus product that has gone through other legal teams or compliance teams, but we'll just make sure that you get your own sign off, that it meets your lawyer's kind of criteria.
Okay.
And then obviously your lawyer would also work with you on getting your kind of mini prospectus document done. That would be on the platform. So, the document that will be digitally signed prior to doing the transaction process.
And the transaction process is seamless with the website as well. So people can check out just like they would normally do on a regular shopping cart then, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can do it. You can do it fully online, very, very much like a shopping cart. And some groups will still opt to take some things offline. If it's maybe in a more established real estate group, for example, if they're a commercial real estate group, they might do wire payments instead of the online payment process. But ultimately the reconciliation of those transactions are still on the platform. It's just they're receiving the money offline. So there's different ways you can do it, and that goes back to our process. We do what makes the most sense for the client. That way they, get a good ROI of the software, and then they continue to use the product. So
that's great. No, it's another way of really marketing your product in a really customizable way. I love the fact that you can run it off your own domain and keep ownership of it. And as far as the end user is concerned, they probably don't even know they're using the Catapult software at that point, right? I mean. It's great. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So some startups, they like having, I shouldn't say startups, but some groups will like to have the Catapult brand as part of their technology, so people know that they're using something that, is obviously secure, that's robust, et cetera. But, other groups will say, they already have their own brand, and then that, they can stand on that. So then we remove kind of the Catapult brand entirely. So like you said, it's completely hosted on your own URL and then completely branded for your organization.
Okay, great. And these people who use your software, are they paying a monthly fee, or is it a one-time licensing fee, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we do a one-time setup fee, and that's really so that we can provide that more robust setup. And then it's a monthly subscription fee. So it is a software as a service kind of product, and that subscription fee, it includes your hosting, your technical maintenance, your support, which is all personalized support. It's not, a 1-800 number. You have access to the team directly. And then you also get all the upgrades that we do. So part of the value of that is you have all these different platforms. Obviously, all of the kind of product iteration is driven by clients. So as we add new modules, you participate in those. Some of those might be from markets that are more advanced. Some of those might be from groups that are more advanced. So a lot of times, it adds a lot of value as you grow as a business as well.
Absolutely. I love it. I love the branding end of this. It's great. How are you getting the word out for this? I mean, as a CEO, your job is basically to make this thing out there and be a cheerleader for the whole plan. Are you doing any road shows, or how are you getting the word out on this project?
Yes, I mean we do a lot of ours. So we are a global company. We have clients really all over the world. The U.S. is obviously a focus market of ours. It's a very large market, but we do have clients from Singapore, Canada, UK, Australia, etc. So we do a lot of inbound marketing. So groups that are looking for these types of products will find our software online. There's a lot of kind of due diligence information that we can provide, from kind of video tutorials to demo access. So a lot of our sales cycle works that way. And then we also attend all of the different fintech events and a lot of regulatory events that happen also kind of across some of our key markets. So combination of both online and offline, which is also, oftentimes what our clients will do once they set up a platform.
Great. And so far, you're as of when were you listed on the exchange? This is pretty new, right?
Yeah, it's only been it was around November 15th that we went up. So we've only been trading. Yeah, we're in our first month of trading. Obviously getting a lot of interest just based on, going back to that post I wrote. I mean, going public as a tech company in an early stage isn't that common. I think a lot of groups just naturally follow the VC route. That's kind of the Hollywood story, so to speak. So, for us going public, I mean, the investor community has been pretty supportive right now of what we're doing, and also some of kind of our future projects, which I think, there's a lot of exciting technology with blockchain, and, I guess with the prices of Bitcoin spiking, it's obviously put that onto the mainstream conversation. So, it's very, very exciting times, what's happening in our space.
I think we could do a whole show on Bitcoin, all the news that's coming out with that thing recently. It's been crazy. But that's great. And then just tell us about yourself as far as your background. How did you kind of get into this whole company and this whole industry?
Yeah, so I mean, my background, I was an institutional equity research analyst. So I was covering the oil and gas sector, very much in, kind of the public and private market space. So a lot of our clients were hedge funds out of New York, a lot of them were U.S. hedge funds, actually. So, we had a lot of interaction with their processes. We were obviously providing them research to make their investment decisions. So, you got exposure to that side of it. We definitely kind of understood the inefficiencies in private capital markets, but it wasn't for a few years. So I ended up leaving. I kind of jumped into the tech world, ended up in a custom software firm that I co-founded with my business partner now, and we did that for a bunch of years. So, a lot of that's looking at complex kind of company processes and automating them. So really, when the Jobs Act came out in the U.S., I think that triggered very much a global movement of, people looking at how can I tap into, different investor segments, high net worth, but also the retail level and the eligible or sophisticated levels. How can I put my platform online and leverage efficiencies? So for us, that was kind of the perfect storm of my background was already there, and we'd been doing things in custom software for so long. So for us, that was something we thought would be a very big opportunity, which it's becoming. And and we started building the Catapult product.
Now, you guys are on the right track. People out there listening, you're listening to Ron Costa and Miguel Dotris on the Reg-A Money Show, and our guest, Brock Murray from Catapult Software. Brock, before we close this out, figured we'd get to our full disclosure segment of our podcast, where we ask a couple of personal questions so our audience gets to know you a little bit better. But let me ask you a real quick question now. When you were a kid, you were like 10 years old growing up, what did you want to be when you were a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up?
There's a few different ones depending on my age, but I'm guessing a fireman. I think a fireman was something I was.
Fireman, everyone wants to be a fireman, right? That's a great answer. And another question I wanted to ask you as well was, if you weren't doing this now as a CEO of Catapult Software, what would you be doing right now? What would be your second dream job?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Realistically, it would probably be something else in the tech sector. If I wanted to go completely kind of left field from that, very, very much so like mixed martial arts. So I think I'd probably do something with, whether it's training Muay Thai or running a kind of a gym like that, to be honest. More of a lifestyle. That's great. More of a lifestyle.
Yeah. Business. For me, it's a baseball manager. I want to be a manager. But Yep. And I think, before we go, Miguel, do you have any questions